How many more fights would you say? I know you said maybe one, but come on.
I don't know, 1, 2.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not one of those guys. I told you I'm not one of those guys that's gonna be fighting till I'm 45 and I'm punchy.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now? No, how? He fought in one division. He had the WBC,
he didn't fight all
WBA.
four. He wasn't undisputed. He
no,
wasn't
no,
undisputed.
he wasn't. No, what I'm saying is they already called him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. He beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
You know what I mean? That's a good win. I'm still a fan. I hope he do well. But like, once it got to the point where I moved up in weight and I'm in the same weight as Spence, it's just like, oh man, you ain't fighting nobody. You this, you that, you this, you that. So now they trying to blame it.
Crawford has fired back at Errol Spence Jr. with a taunting response after Spence unexpectedly called for a rematch. Crawford sees Spence as nothing more than a quick payday, believing the outcome would be no different from their first fight. If anything, it could be even more lopsided. Their rivalry, which many assumed had ended after Spence was brutally knocked out 2 years ago, has now been...
I'm like, dude, you're not going to do that. Because I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him. I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got right now.
Errol Spence is set to make his return to the ring soon, and among the many options available to him, he has chosen to face Terence Crawford once again. However, this decision wasn't entirely his own. Spence was compelled to take this fight after hearing Crawford's comments on a podcast, where Crawford claimed that Spence was not fit or qualified to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Spence, along with several other boxing professionals, found Crawford's remarks both insulting and unjustified. As a fighter of Spence's caliber, who overcame a devastating car crash,
where you would rematch Errol Spence, or is he in a position where he needs to win again before that makes sense for you?
The possibility is there.
I'm walking over my feet. You know, I want to get out the game. I got kids, got a mom and dad, and you know, they want to enjoy me. So.
Defeated top-tier opponents and dethroned reigning welterweight champions to unify 3 belts in the division, he felt the need to respond in the ring. Spence's lone loss on his boxing record should not diminish his Hall of Fame aspirations, nor should his defeat against Crawford overshadow his 28 victories and 22 knockouts. However, Spence isn't interested in debating his legacy. He's determined to take matters into his own hands by facing the first boxer to become undisputed in 2 weight divisions during the 4-belt era. In Spence's view, a victory over Crawford would eliminate any doubt.
Sadly, this definitely got to come to the end. So I'm definitely going to get out while I still can and not either be forced out or I have to keep fighting because I need money.
Add one more belt, though.
Doubts about his Hall of Fame status. In response to Crawford's remarks, he called for a rematch. Crawford, however, delivered a savage reply, dismissing the challenge by claiming that any fight with Spence is simply easy money. It looks like your message got cut off again. Are you looking for a rewrite, summary, or analysis of the debate? Let me know what you need. It looks like your message got cut off again. But from what I can see, you're talking about the ongoing debate over whether Errol Spence Jr. deserves a spot in the Boxing Hall of Fame, with Terence Crawford questioning Spence's achievements while Jamel Herring defended him. If you want a summary, analysis,
broke him down
or
and was able to stop him at the end.
Everybody's wondering what's going on with you and Terence Crawford. This fight going to happen?
I think it's going to happen. We both want to fight. I want to fight. He wants to fight. And, you know, it's going down to negotiations. So I definitely going to get the fight this year. And we're going to score off this year with the biggest fight in boxing.
It is the biggest fight in boxing. Where and when, if you were guessing?
I don't know where, I don't know when, but it's definitely going to be this year.
All right.
Rewritten version, just let me know. It sounds like Jamel Herring strongly believes Errol Spence Jr. deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame, countering Terence Crawford's argument. Herring points out that Spence unified the welterweight division by beating reigning champions, not winning vacant titles, took on tough opponents like Mikey and Danny Garcia, and maintained star power by selling out arenas and driving pay-per-view sales. He also emphasizes that Spence's lone loss to Crawford doesn't erase his legacy. Are you looking for a full rewrite, a breakdown of the debate, or your own
for
argument?
his title, I'm fighting for a title, and there's a possibility. He win this fight, God willing. I win my fight, God willing. And there's a possibility right there.
It looks like you're putting together all the perspectives on whether Errol Spence Jr. deserves a Hall of Fame spot. Yordenis Ugas, another former opponent, also supports Spence's case, citing his resilience in coming back from a car crash and eye surgery to win titles. Ugas, like Jamel Herring, acknowledges that Spence beat real champions and overcame serious obstacles in his career. The passage also touches on the long-awaited Spence versus Crawford fight, delayed for years due to promotional disputes between Top Rank and PBC. When Crawford finally became a free agent, negotiations took place but collapsed before finally happening in 2023. Are you looking for a polished write-up of this whole debate, or do you want help forming an argument for or against Spence's Hall of Fame case? This part of the discussion highlights how Spence's career has been marked by incredible comebacks from serious setbacks, particularly his recovery from a car accident in 2019 and a detached retina surgery in 2021. Despite these obstacles, Spence returned to the ring and defeated top-level opponents like Danny Garcia and Yordenis Ugas. His return from the detached retina injury was reminiscent of Sugar Ray Leonard's comeback in the 80s, and he managed to win his third welterweight title by defeating Ugas. Crawford, on the other hand, continues to impress, most recently with his KO win. Over David Avanesian in December 2022, showing he's still at the top of his game. Are you looking to explore how these comebacks play into the argument for or against Spence's Hall of Fame candidacy? An interview. The conversation about Spence's Hall of Fame credentials was reignited after his loss to Terence Crawford on July 29, 2023, in their long-awaited fight at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Crawford dominated the Segiddi bout, winning by 9th-round TKO to become the undisputed welterweight champion. This victory made Crawford the first male boxer in the four-belt era to claim undisputed titles in 2 weight divisions and the first to achieve this in the welterweight division since 2006. Crawford's win also marked his 11th consecutive finish, with most of those coming in the later...
skill sets I feel like advantages over him. But at the end of the day, I feel like this fight is basically so even. You know, it's going to be more about just being more focused and, you know, not getting out of focus, especially in the later rounds, just making sure, staying on point all throughout the fight and making sure you don't lose focus, because that's how...
rounds. This fight added fuel to the debate, with Crawford solidifying his place in history, while questions about Spence's legacy and Hall of Fame candidacy arose due to the loss. Would you like to dive deeper into how this specific loss impacts the Hall of Fame debate? Bad interview da. In their 2023 showdown, Terence Crawford delivered a boxing masterclass, dominating Errol Spence from the start. Crawford dropped Spence in the second round, an unfamiliar position for Spence, who had never been dropped before in his career. By the end of the fight, Spence had been dropped 3 times, mirroring the kind of defeat that Devin Haney suffered in his first career loss. Crawford finished the fight with an incredible 60% of his power shots landing, alongside 42% of his jabs. His 87 landed jabs were the
really
most
surprised me. He was just like I thought. It just my timing wasn't good today.
Questions for Errol Spence Jr.?
Hey, Errol, Keith Heideck from BoxingScene.com. What do you attribute your timing not being there to? Did you feel off physically or anything, or what was wrong in the fight?
Fighter had landed on Spence. This performance added even more weight to the debate about Spence's legacy and whether his Hall of Fame status is secure, especially considering how dominant Crawford was in the ring that night. Does this loss affect how you view Spence's Hall of Fame chances, or are his overall achievements enough to secure his place? In the early rounds of the fight, Errol Spence came out aggressively, trying to dictate the pace and apply pressure. Terence Crawford, known for being a slow starter, stayed patient and picked his moments to counter. In the first round, there were no standout
not being
moments.
there too. Did you feel off physically or anything, or what was wrong in the fight?
Yeah, felt a little off physically, but most times I get through it. So, I thought it was gonna be just like the other times, but I couldn't kick it up a notch.
Spence made the mistake of overreaching, and Crawford capitalized with a sharp left hand. This set the tone for what was expected to be a strategic chess match, with Crawford being more measured and Spence looking to establish control. In the second round, Spence continued to press forward, using his movement, consistent jab, and relentless pressure to trouble Crawford. While Spence had some early success, it was clear that Crawford's strategy was to absorb the pressure and find his opportunities, which eventually led to his dominance in the later rounds. This careful, calculated approach helped set the stage.
For the knockout, I go looking for the win, but if he get out of line, he's gonna be the next one down.
I've been getting
Stage for the fight's ultimate outcome. Does this breakdown change how you view the dynamics of the fight and how Spence's performance might affect his Hall of Fame status? Terence Crawford's power began to truly make an impact as the fight went on. In the second round, a straight left jab from Crawford dropped Spence for the first time in his career. From there, Crawford's dominance only grew. In the fourth round, a powerful overhand left and a series of punishing jabs visibly hurt Spence, continuing the impressive performance from the 35-year-old champion.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'ma do it. I'ma do it.
Errol?
You don't need more than the belt. I don't know what you talking about. I ain't one of your kids.
I'ma
You don't
treat
need
you.
more than the belt. I ain't one of your
I'ma
kids.
treat you like one.
Yeah, all right, we gonna see.
All right, we definitely gonna see.
And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the main event of the evening. Brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. 12 rounds of boxing with the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
Crawford's accuracy, speed, and textbook counterpunching kept backing Spence up into the fifth round, making it clear that it was only a matter of time before the fight would end. Crawford dropped Spence 2 more times before finishing the fight, with a 9th-round TKO, cementing his place in history as the first undisputed welterweight champion in the 4-belt era. This performance, in particular, left many questioning whether Spence's career can be viewed in the same light, especially with his first loss being so one-sided. Do you think Crawford's flawless execution changes the way we should view Spence's?
Probably like first, second round. He's a strong dude, but everybody at this top level have some type of power. But I think because my time was out, he was catching me in between shots.
I get to say I told y'all because I've been asking for these fights for years. And y'all been saying, oh, he's too small. He's gonna get this, he's gonna get broken.
After the fight, Terence Crawford reflected on his incredible journey, expressing how much the victory meant to him. He acknowledged that he had always dreamed of being a world champion and considered himself an overachiever. Crawford recalled how, early in his career, many doubted him and didn't believe he could reach the top of the sport. But with perseverance and determination, he proved his doubters wrong. He also expressed gratitude toward Errol Spence Jr. and his team, acknowledging that none of his achievements would have been possible without facing top competition.
Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. for providing us an unbelievable amount of boxing here in Las Vegas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I want to bring up, he is the first.